whether I win at the track or not, I do not look at the board. And that's the same, I approach stocks that way. I did not like Bitcoin when it was at $600. Can you imagine when it went to 18,000 how I felt about myself? So I'm not going to be one to say, oh, Bitcoin was an obvious thing. The smartest people in the world, or the smartest people I know, are doing work on and recommending. I have to respect that. Yep. It got obviously crazy when my son comes home. You know, he's a junior in high school. He comes home and says, Dad, I just opened up an account. And I go, where, how, who, what? He goes, we're all buying Bitcoin. I'm like, we're done. You know, and so those are the things, the shoe shine, your cab driver, things like that. But with my son, I'm like, okay. So yes, I have a lot of smart friends that are doing it. But now my son, who's a smart kid, is now, it was close. And that was actually right near the top.
December.
I'm not the one to dance on anybody's grave as it relates to crypto, because I think there is something there, and I think it's neat what's being built. So, but I don't know the blockchain, all the blockchain companies, but.
J.P. Morgan,
yeah.
1907, states, there's nothing in this world which will so violently distort a man's judgment more than the sight of his neighbor getting rich.
Right, exactly.
And I delivered a speech in South Africa a couple of years back, and somebody in the front row stood up and said, Mr. McDonald, it's the brother-in-law getting rich.
Right.
Where in today's market, besides crypto, are you seeing those signs of where people are chasing the other investor and making those bad decisions?
I mean, well, crypto was one, certainly, at the time where there was just kind of a fad, so to speak. It's here to stay, but it was a fad in terms of where it went. I'm trying to think of the other. You know, there is so much leverage in the system. When I say leverage, central banks have poured so much money in. I think people that are this generation, and you and I can say the next generation almost at this point that's come to Wall Street and is money management, only knows one thing, and that was quantitative easing. So if you were in high school in 2008 and now you're working on Wall Street, right, you're 28, 29 years old, you feel like the Fed has your back. So I wouldn't say it's anyone. I would say it's the thought that the government, that it's a thought that global QE will always be there for you, and central banks will be there to bail you out. So I think it's a moral issue of facing the pain for making a mistake more than it is anything else into one particular asset. If that answers your question. So my favorite analogy is, and I love the horses, and you can study them just like you can a balance sheet. Is when you go to the track. The worst thing you can do when you walk into the track before you buy a program is look at the odds, look at the tote board and see what the odds are. So if there's 8 horses on the board and one's 40 to 1 and one's even money or 2 to 1, what is your brain going to do? Your brain's going to open that program and immediately think, I'm not even looking at the 40 to 1 horse, the 7 horse, because there's not a chance he can win. You go where everybody is going, to your point. And that's my rule, whether I win at the track or not. I do not look at the board. And that's the same, I approach stocks that way. Just because the stock's down or a stock's up. You know, people self-fulfill, oh, this is a great company because the stock's up, or it's a horrible company because the stock's down. Do the work, bottom up, and back to your passive question, that's what's being lost right now, is the ability, the good old days of, hey, I like this company, I'm gonna go do work on it. My kids ask me they wanna buy stocks, I go, okay, go find a company, tell me what it is, I'll help you gather the research on it, and give me your thesis on why you think this is a good company or not. Like, I want that to come back, and that's the root of how our country, how the stock market was established. And that's the good part of the market. So,
old-fashioned homework.
Old-fashioned homework. And so no one's doing the homework. I shouldn't say nobody. The global masses are not doing the homework. They're chasing trends. There's a feeling of protection that the government always has your back in global markets. And is there a plunge protection team, Larry? You would know better than I would. Certainly feels, I'm not a conspiracist per se. Some people think I am, but certainly feels that way sometimes, that someone's buying futures out there at various times to protect. So, again, I think people have been sucked in a little bit here, and I think it's going to be a rocky road.